Welcome to today's reading. Today's reading will be, what is the truth of this situation? We have 3 piles for you to choose from. Group 1 with the Knight of Wands, Group 2 with the 3 of Wands, and Group 3 with the 6 of Cups. So you can take a moment to choose whichever pile you feel the most drawn to, and use the timestamps in the description box to jump ahead when you're ready, and we'll get started with Group 1. Okay, welcome Group 1 to your reading today. If you chose the Knight of Wands, this will be the truth of your situation. I was getting something before I started this reading today saying that this person is or has been lying to you, or they have at some point, something along those lines. I feel like this Knight of Wands energy is representative of you as a person. I feel like you're probably quite inquisitive and curious about something that's going on. Okay, we'll keep them separate. Maybe you're kind of unsure and you want to know more, and you might be quite focused or fixated. Maybe not fixated, just focused. It's like you're paying attention to whatever this situation is, something that's happened here. I feel like there's actually 2 sides of the coin here that we're going to be looking at today. So one side of it is that a person has experienced some type of victory or perceived victory or recognition or success, and maybe it's just recognition of like being experienced or something like that. And the other side, yeah, all those things that I just said, and being very confident and going after what you want, but actually being successful in your endeavors and being an empowered person that manages to maintain your position. So that's like the first side. You could be a person that just naturally attains like a lot of, attention. This energy could be flipped, by the way. So you could be this first person, person A here, or you could be the second person, person B. I guess I'm just going to tell it like a story will be the aim. And then you can apply it like, you just take what resonates. Don't try to make anything fit here that doesn't fit your situation. So the person B that we have here seems to be a person that seems to be like quite naturally supportive, like they would look after you, maybe quite like an emotionally intelligent, like a high EQ type of person, and maybe almost like they have a strong empathy or something like that. And because of that, they do have to be quite discerning, but I do feel like they see through a lot of things as well. And I guess they could be like a perceived leader in a very different type of way, although I'm not sure how to explain it. Like, person A seems like a person with a lot of notoriety, from being a person that can take charge and kind of has like a natural born sense of leadership and achievement and performance. Like, person A seems to be like a very effective or successful person. They're like successful in their pursuits, and they're just very confident, and I feel like people might get drawn into like a magnetism here. Like, person A could be quite a warm person or something like that. And then we have person B seems to be quite emotionally supportive and emotionally intelligent, but they're also very firm. They probably don't let a lot of people in. They seem very matter of fact, but they don't really seem like a person who would naturally assume a leadership position, but they almost get placed there kind of by natural consequence. I don't know how else to explain it, although they do seem like a person who's much more concerned with keeping people either accountable or a clean inner circle or something like that. I'm not really sure. They're focused on the truth as a matter at hand. Yeah, I think that's the better way to explain it. Okay, so, and then I was looking at like the Knight of Wands here, and if I put the Knight of Wands in the middle, it almost looks like there's a person of interest here. So, oh, this is bizarre. I feel like there could be like 3 or more different perspectives in how this reading will play out. So I might not even do person A, B, C. I might just say, I'm just going to reference the cards, okay? So, you know, that first really confident person who naturally assumes leadership positions and, you know, seems to be recognized for, you know, success in their endeavors and whatnot. That's the Queen of Wands. The person B that I was talking about, that's like emotionally nurturing and pretty matter of fact and like cares about the truth. That's going to be the King of Swords. And then the Knight of Wands was originally how I was picking up on you, the audience viewer, as your energy or your position within this reading. So there was like a type of curiosity here, but it looks like, I can't really tell with this Knight of Wands if they're wanting the position or the achievement, the success, the notoriety that this Queen of Wands character has, or if they're actually genuinely like attracted or interested in this Queen of Wands figure. Whatever it is that's happening here, the Queen of Wands has this Knight of Wands attention. I just heard something about for the wrong reasons. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like they would just try to do what they could to kind of take that position. Yeah. This is so weird. Okay, we're just going to keep going. We'll just see how it all unfolds. Now, on the other side of this person that the Knight of Wands has their back turned to seems to be because they, even though they would be this like emotionally nurturing person, they do seem to come off in quite a hard matter-of-fact energy, caring about the truth. So it's like the Knight of Wands isn't interested in the truth or being around this King of Swords figure, because the King of Swords figure will kind of keep them at bay or want the truth laid out for everyone. I'm not really sure. I'm starting to get like another energy here, and I really can't tell who's who, and I can't tell what energy people are in, because I feel muddled in this situation. It's like I don't understand what's happening here, and it might have something to do with that, like someone here is lying, because I look at this King of Swords and I felt like they were like a really benevolent, like truth seeker type of person, but they come off really hard. Now I'm looking at them and I feel like I'm hearing like they're jockeying for my position. So like maybe they're trying to use this like Ace of Cups here as like an offer of like, here, I'm really emotionally supportive and I'll help you, and you know, I can be there for you, as like a way to draw people in. But like really when it comes down to it, they're actually like a really smooth communicator, but they're actually like quite controlling, like they want control of the narrative or something weird like that. On this other side, there's this Queen of Wands actually seems to be in quite a good energy. Like they're quite just happy where they are. They're quite accomplished in what they do. I feel like they don't really feel like they have anything to hide. Everything's kind of on offer, open. Yeah. And then this Knight of Wands is unsure. But like, what's happening? I'm going to take some cards from another deck, because Actually, I might even try smudging before we take cards from another deck. So some of you could be like, I guess with the title of the reading being like, what's the truth of the situation? You would probably be looking for some type of clarity here, and it makes a lot of sense why, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of clarity. Some of you may want to make sure you're putting in efforts to protect yourself at this time, and for some of you, having like a labradorite crystal might be quite helpful for you. Okay, so I think one of the things I can see here is that it's still so hard. I'm looking at this Ace of Cups, like this emotionally supportive energy that the King of Swords can sometimes have on offer. And part of me wants to say they're not being themselves. The other part of me wants to say, no, they're actually really nuanced and they're kind of deeply insightful, and it's really hard to be able to tell what's what and who's who. So, what cards are we going to use? I feel like Spirit's telling me not to worry about more cards. I'm just going to see if I can get something extra. Spirit saying that you're the heart of the situation and you can see the truth. Oh, it's like you know the truth whether you want to see it or not. They're saying that you're bringing in people that are harmful because you want people around. And that you need to be more grounded in your decision making with a stronger sense of self, so that you don't allow people like this to come in. It's having better boundaries. I feel like I harp on about boundaries in these readings all the time, but it seems to be something a lot of people generally struggle with. I just asked, like, who is, you know, I guess, like, the truthful person in this situation, and they said that you are sharpening your eye for discernment. So I don't think Spirit's actually going to tell us exactly what. So the labradorite would be protective if some of you, not only is hematite protective, but it can actually be quite grounding as well if some of you would like something to work with that. I think what they want you to work on is having a stronger sense of self and your boundaries. And then when it's like they were kind of saying something about having people around and or making allowances for them, something to that effect. So it's like if you have a person come in and they are not treating you in a way that you would like to be treated, then you need to not accept that. You might, like, you know, you might need to, like, communicate that that's not acceptable to you, and if it continues, then you might need to move away from that situation so that it doesn't continue to happen, so that you're not just making allowances or keeping people around out of almost like an insecurity that people won't accept you, or yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. I do feel like I'll probably cop a little bit of, like, how's that, flat back? Like, maybe this message isn't going to be one that everybody wants to hear, or something about, like, the way that it's, like, coming through and being delivered is going to rub up against people's egos or something like that. And I guess it depends, like, who you are in the situation. As far as I can tell, all three people in this situation probably have trouble seeing each other through their own lens, because they have all had, like, different experiences in the way that they've come up to get to where they are. And sometimes as a human being, we kind of lend our lens of the world or our view of the world to other people, thinking that other people view the world the same way that we do, and it's not necessarily the case. People care about different things, and people have had different experiences that have shaped them in different ways. I also feel like this could potentially be a group that I was sort of, after I did my last reading, like what would the next 3 months look like, I kind of felt like within that first 24 hours afterwards that there was like a little bit of flack that was coming through, and it was kind of like people judging the level in which the reading was coming through. And when I say the level, I guess what I'm referring to is in terms of people's levels of understanding the world and their life experience. Like I might have quite a few people with the base level of understanding coming through compared to other people's life experience. And the thing is that we, like, I don't know how to explain. These readings are for everybody. They are general readings. If you would like a personal or a private reading, you can book one using the email in my description box. I won't ever reach out to people, so you can email me if that's something that you would like to, you know, achieve like a more accurate reading. You can always choose a different pile or a different video, or if you just find in general that our vibrations don't match, you can always like come back and try again in a couple of months or something like that. It may be even a couple of weeks. Sometimes it only takes a couple of days. It just really depends where everybody's at. You know, I have like one of my very favorite readers. I watched maybe a couple of her readings over a period of 6 months, and I found it too hit and miss, and I found that she just wasn't for me. And I went away for 6 months, and I had a friend telling me about her, saying how good of a reader she was. And I went back and tried her videos again, and it turned out that at that point I was resonating with them, and that at that, you know, earlier point in time when I first had come across them and they weren't resonating for me, I just wasn't really ready for it. I wasn't at a vibration in which I could take it in. It wouldn't have been helpful for me at that point. So, you know, there might be people here that are wanting something more from the situation than what I, as a reader, could actually give at this point in time, especially in like a general reading setting, and that's okay. There's so many good readers on YouTube, and I follow many. So like there's nothing wrong with having a look at like the different readers that are out there, or exploring like your own spirituality in different ways. Sometimes you might find like different forms of healing or modalities more effective than others, and so you might be a person that readings are I don't know if I want to say they're a waste of time, because they're never a waste of time, or they wouldn't come through you know, in the way that the universe wants them to. But for you as a person, you might find a different modality like a Reiki energy healing more effective in, or more profound in your own personal experience, and you might just have a different type of path compared to other people, and that's okay too. I sort of wonder if like sometimes what happens is we're just getting so many people, maybe not now because these readings are timeless too, so like I might not have a lot of people in this reading at when I originally record this video or this reading, but maybe in 6 months time I have a lot more people coming in, and when those people are coming in, they are coming in at maybe, I don't really know how everyone's journey is going to look, and it's going to be different for everybody. You might have people coming in that are like well and truly like spiritual veterans, or they've been, you know, involved in energetic readings or tarot readings, card readings, whatever that looks like, for such a long time that maybe they're at a different level, or just a completely different pathway. That's fine, it's okay. But there are going to be people that are coming in that are learning, and part of like, I feel like part of it's, I don't want to say like it's our responsibility for another person's, you know, like I guess, ownership or responsibility in their own spiritual journeys. Everyone should have that. But I do feel like sometimes when we have people coming in at, like, I guess, closer to a starting point, that doing these readings, I'm still having messages come through for them. The universe is choosing that. I'm not choosing the messages. I'm still holding space. I too, like, once was much more inexperienced than I am now, and it is like a profound, from what I understand, lifelong learning journey, and it will be for everybody. And if these readings of mine are hard for you to get through, or you're finding yourself kind of being impatient with them a little bit, you may have to just like take a beat from my readings and come back at a different point. But like, that's okay, and everyone's welcome to do that, and everyone's welcome, you know, to their own, like, we're all at different levels. Like, you might actually just be at a further point, you know, you've been doing this longer or something like that, and you might need something more insightful into different types of readings. Sometimes, like, when we get these readings come through on repeat with energies that we're not interested in, we might be missing something, or there's something that we haven't observed, you know, something about the situation. We might, like, you know, sometimes with the pick of cards, Spirit can kind of like beat certain topics to death in readings, and we might not want to hear about it anymore because it's like, I can't really learn anything new from this. This just kind of feels like somebody else's energy pulling on mine. And that sometimes actually can be the case, that other people are coming in and they're kind of like wanting to have their say or something like that. Sometimes it's not really about that particular situation anymore, and it's more of like a mirror for a different type of situation going on in life, where there was like something that played out in that way that might be playing out a similar way in a very different type of situation. I can't say in all the ways in which Spirit works, because like the human brain could probably only comprehend so much of the ways in which it works anyway, and I'm not always the most articulate person. So that being said, we'll move forward and see what else we're actually getting here. For those of you that are still with me, I want to say, like, welcome. Such a weird thing to say after a spiel like that, but that's what Spirit's saying. It's kind of like, welcome to where you're at, and like, I think Spirit's just happy that you're here, and it doesn't matter. There is no judgment on where we're at. We're showing up, and we're aware, or, you know, we're acknowledging something here. Okay, so now that that's over, Spirit is saying to talk more about a death that occurred a while ago. So it seems like a person that passed. And they kind of left you in a position, maybe you felt more unsure of yourself, or you didn't really know what to do after that happened. So I guess the first thing I want to say is, if this doesn't resonate for you, this would be your key to maybe exit out of this group. And I guess like a trigger warning if you're still experiencing like a heavy grief or something like that, before you like go any forward. And I guess, you know, taking care of yourself and just having compassion for yourself, and making sure that you're supported, and okay. So for some of you, this actually could be an example of, after a person has passed away, it's left you looking like, with you might internally feel like there are two different options in front of you like two different pathways of how you could lead your life, and you've got these two like real life or real world examples of what way you could go, and you're not really sure. And at this point in time, I could say that you may be leaning towards more of this Queen of Wands character. Maybe you, as like a Knight of Wands energy, feel like you resonate more strongly with the Queen of Wands. It seems like something that interests you more or grabs your attention more. Maybe you feel more naturally inclined. I feel like the Wands, when they reach these like hierarchical leadership type positions, they, what is it, have like a very innate natural sense of leadership or improvise. Like they're very quick. They're good at improvising. Yeah, I think they're good at making decisions, especially like on spur of the moment, something like that. Spirit is saying that the truth of the situation is that that's not actually what you want. So I'm not sure how you would interpret who's lying here, but we'll just keep going and see. So I think that maybe this King of Swords character comes off in such a hard way, where it's almost cold and detached, or so hard that it seems like they never have any fun. They're not a warm person, or they're not interesting or exciting. They're dead down the line. There's no like room for grace or play or something like that. And it just seems like, I don't know, maybe it seems plain and boring. Maybe it seems too I don't know if I want to say restricted is the right word. Maybe not that, but like it gives me the energy as an example of the Queen of Wands might be a celebrity and the King of Swords might be like a police officer. And so you might be looking at this Queen of Wands going, well, that looks heaps better. You know, she looks like, you know, she gets that recognition, she's got a good position, you know, it looks like more fun, blah, blah, blah. Like maybe it's a bit more glamorous or attractive or magnetic or something like that. And then this King of Swords person, it's like, well, no one wants to be their friend, even though they're maybe a little bit more like, I don't know, emotionally developed or something like that. Or even if it's not about friendships, there did seem to be something earlier about like keeping people around, right? Or like kind of, you know, I sort of wonder with this group, even though we haven't gotten to the end of the reading yet, if the person lying is kind of like you lying to yourself about, you know, like, oh no, my boundaries weren't crossed, or I do have boundaries already, or something like that. And I don't think it's like, you know, sometimes we're not even aware of these things. And like I said, there's no like good, bad judgment or anything like that. Sometimes it's just the way we come up in life. And I don't know, like, sometimes we're like making allowances for other people, forsaking our own selves or our own person, and that's why Spirit wants you to develop the stronger sense of self and really get to know yourself. And I feel like you might look at this King of Swords person and see them extending their hand out with this offer of like emotional intelligence, or I don't know, for some of them it might even be gratitude, like some sort of sense of gratitude or something that they could really have to show you, or like almost as if they're passing on a bit of a gift, as if it was sent from below or divined or something like that. And you just think like, why would I take that cup when look where they are, and it doesn't really look like the truth of it. Like this person doesn't look like an emotionally supportive, nurturing person. They look like they're really hard and like maybe the opposite of emotionally supportive. But it's kind of in a sense of like, that's why they are this way. It's because they are that person. They've had to really protect it, and they've had to become really discerning. And I think they have a lot of wisdom to teach in a way that you probably wouldn't have necessarily experienced in the world. And there is like a lot of transformation with this King of Swords character if you go, and I think you'll probably learn a lot more about yourself if you were to take that cup. I feel like Spirit doesn't necessarily want to tell you what to do here, because it's like your own innate decision and choice and, you know, sovereignty and you know, responsibility for your decisions, and some of us might just need to take this like Queen of Wands path so that we can at least find out for ourselves, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. That's okay too. Because for some of you, you might really like what this represents and what this actually brings to the world and how this person shows up in the world, and you just might feel so much more resonance with that, and that's okay. But I feel like the truth of the situation is that this King of Swords character has a lot more to offer, or on offer, than what you can actually see, and hence why you'd be looking at the Queen of Wands. So it seems like Spirit is trying to bring through another message about the truth of the situation is ultimately what you make of it, and it's through having developed that stronger sense of self. So it's like, regardless of what other people may say or project or tell you about their positions or put on show, it would probably be something that you would just need to walk your own path and experience it and make your own mind up as you go. I feel like this group is a little bit convoluted in the message, and I'm not really sure if it was helpful. I hope that it really was. I feel like for some of you, there could be other people trying to have like input or something here, or it's, you know, I look at this Queen of Wands and she's like looking back towards you, and then I look at the King of Swords, and even though he's not looking directly at you, he still has an offer. So it's like maybe both people or situations have different things that are like drawing you in, or they have different offers or opportunities or something like that. I'm not really sure what this is. I just feel like it's more of like an inner journey in the world, or maybe not an inner journey. It definitely seems very externally focused, and maybe that's something here that I guess this King of Swords could show you, is that this King of Swords journey has more of an inner quality reflected here. And actually, it's funny that we're talking about this, because I did pick up the deck before and I noticed that the Hermit was on the bottom of the deck, and the Hermit is about like deep introspective journeys, you know, sometimes in a lot of solitude on your own, and it's developing, yeah, I guess it can be like a you know, a pretty solid way to develop your own strong sense of self. Like you use the light to guide yourself through your own journey, not no one external to you, and you develop your own great sense of wisdom because of that. So yeah, maybe you are giving too much authority to these people outside of yourself or to your situation. Yeah, that actually seems like maybe that's more the point of it. It's like there's too much authority being given to the people or expectations or scenarios. It's like you're giving other people more credit than yourself. Maybe you're younger, or you like aren't as established as these people, and maybe you're like just starting out in something, and because of that you're almost automatically undermining your own potential or your own skills or abilities or something like that. And Spirit wants you to know that you have everything you need within yourself for you to sort of forge your own path. You don't actually have to like follow one of these specific paths, although there are definitely things you will learn from whichever path you choose to take. I feel like Spirit really wants you to forge your own path. Yeah. Okay, that seems to have brought a little bit more clarity in there. All right, so group 1, that's everything that I have for you. And yeah, take care of yourselves. Okay, welcome group 2 to your reading of what's the truth of the situation. I just wanted to do a quick Palo Santo smudge just to like clear anything up from the last reading that could be hanging around. It's a bit hard to get it going. Just to make sure we're starting off with like a fresh, clean, clear energy and be a little bit more grounded. It's just a little bit convoluted. Okay, so I'm hoping everybody's doing well. If you chose the Three of Wands, then this is your pile, so we'll just leave that out. I guess the Three of Wands is talking about thinking about going after the things that we want, or having the courage to like start making moves or moving forward, or starting out on the journey, or trying to like cross the shores to get to the other side of the ocean, something like that. Not really sure. Okay. So for some of you, you may be a little bit unsure or in your feels of what it is exactly. Maybe not what you want, but maybe like how to get there, or you don't realize that there's some sort of subconscious pattern underneath what you want that's kind of playing out. And then for others of you, there is an energy here of like strong manifestation or ritual type practices trying to bring something in as well. And it looks like you're meeting spirit halfway as you start out your journey as a novice. I actually want to read from the book on this card, I think I might end up reading from the book on the elemental of cups as well. I might just see if there's anything else I pick up first. I think it's just like that driving force. It's like whatever this thing is that you want. It's like maybe this group is very driven, or whatever this thing is you decide you want actually makes you very driven or gives you a lot of drive. So, nice. So the suit of wands and its corresponding element fire is passionate and dedicated to the task at hand. So a young man with red hair represents this novice. He wears a long orange robe and necklace. He intently examines a ritual wand. A small fire burns nearby. This novice can be someone of great focus and enthusiasm. He is ready to take on any endeavor and give 100%. He runs the risk of recklessness if he doesn't temper his excitement with a balanced approach. Yeah, that seems really fitting. Cool. And then we have the elemental of cups. This actually seems really great. Like whatever this is, it's like gives you a lot of drive, and like, yeah, it might actually keep you focused, but it actually seems like it could be like really fulfilling. Like there's something here, the level of like importance in whatever this is that you've decided is I don't know, maybe not importance, but it feels really impactful to you or your situation or something like that. Like maybe it gives you lots of hope, and it does give you something to look forward to, like heaps of excitement, kind of like the book was saying. But maybe there's like hope, or there's like perceived fulfillment here. But I think that it's not just perceived. I think you find as you like head out on your journey that you actually come across it in its like purest form. With that being said, it could be like an element. This group seems like much more, I don't know how I want to say it, like in tune. I don't know. This group could actually be like a little bit witchy, or even if you don't really feel that way about yourself, you could be a person that has energetic practices that you participate in, like manifestation, or even if it's just really basic like ritualistic type things that you do that you don't necessarily think of as a ritual, it could still actually be having like a profound experience and you actually don't realize. But for others of you, I feel like you're very practiced, and there's lots of intent here. This group seems very clear, and there's intent here. You know what it is that you're seeing, what you want, what you're after, and you're making moves towards it. It seems like very well, I don't know if it's anticipated is the right word, but it's just, it's like you've got good anticipation. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so read from the book. There is something here about like, you would be surprised at the things that you'll find at the depths, at the bottom of, yeah, I don't know what we're trying to say. Maybe at the depths of your soul, like maybe this journey is kind of a journey of the soul. Okay, so it says, in the pagan tarot, the elementals are recognized as the purest source of energy. The elemental for water is the Undine. I think it's Undine, or Undine. Undine. So they are usually thought by many to be the most beautiful of all elementals. Visually, they appear to be a cross between a fairy and a mermaid. Undine, I feel like it's got to be Undine. Okay, Undines have a gentle shimmer to them and a slight fishy scaled look to their skin. Etheric in nature, they exist within the water itself. Beautiful and graceful, they often ride the waves of the ocean and lounge in rocky pools or marshlands. The Undine represents someone experiencing a new relationship or emotion. Everything is new and anything is possible to this person, and this person cannot see herself existing outside of her current emotional experience. This elemental can indicate a message, often pertaining to romance, a creative or artistic project, or an emotionally charged situation. So it might actually bring up a lot for you, this journey, and it might make you feel quite vulnerable, but you're also fully immersed in it, and it's like, I don't know, it might be a lot, it might be totally consuming, but which I feel like we kind of got something like that similar before. For some of you, I'm getting it's like shadow work type stuff, and for others of you, it's just, there's definitely like an element here of getting to know the universe, and or maybe you just, I guess along this journey, it's like you're starting out at the very start, and like a lot will probably come up over time that will, you know, be very emotionally charged or make you feel very vulnerable or something like that. But I'm kind of getting a message of there's like a lot of beauty in this, and it's only a journey, and it's like kind of on the pathway to developing this, like, you know, a higher knowledge or esoteric knowledge or wisdom or something like that that will be passed down. And it could just be, yeah, any sort of energetic, spiritual, kind of witchy, magical type journeys or practices. It seems like you're very much on a set particular pathway. Yeah. They're saying I don't really need to say much more for this group. And so it's like, what's the truth of it? You're a really, I don't know, like a magical person, or a spiritually inclined person, or a person that maybe does like some sort of rituals or manifestation type exercises. Maybe the truth of it is that you actually are on your way to well and truly being like the high priestess in your own life, or whatever that looks like. Whether it's a case that you start doing readings or something, I don't really know. Everyone's path is so different, and just because you're on that high priestess path doesn't mean you have to do readings. There's so many different things. For some of you, it could be actually kind of finding, it's like your vibe, finding your tribe of other people that are like-minded, because when we kind of declare what we are to the world, everyone can see what we are, and so, you know, those like-minded people will know, they'll be able to see you, they'll be able to find you. Yeah. They're just saying something about energy principles and practices that you're learning or focusing on or refining or, you know, mastering or building or something like that. So kind of like there's an artistry to it, and you're kind of making life your canvas in this way that you're doing. It's actually really beautiful. energy here. And do you know what's even better is that it seems like you're actually focused on yourself. I feel like so many people are so externally focused that they kind of lose sight of themselves and their inner journey. So now that I've said that, do we want to do anything else? No. Okay, do we want to take another card? No. Group 2, this is extremely quick. I might just see, can we do some sort of like a psychometry or something? No? Okay. It doesn't really seem like I can offer you more advice or, you know, bring anything through for you that you really, that would be helpful for you, that you can't bring through yourself, or that you wouldn't already know or have the ability to work out. And if it's the case that there is things that you genuinely don't know, or it's like hard for you to see the truth in this situation, maybe you feel really clouded from your emotions, or because it is such like a mysterious or path, or like things feel hidden from you or to you, then it might be a case of you're not actually meant to know yet, and you're meant to go on the journey and embrace every step of it and truly embody what it is to walk this path. So that's actually everything I have for you, group 2. It seems like you're doing really well. Yeah, it seems like, you know, even though it looks like this could be like a bit of a roller coaster at times, I feel like you seem to be a, what is it, like, kind of innately like peaceful person. Oh no, they're bringing something up with this card now. Okay. I'm getting like a really weird message, and it's something that I get pretty often, and they're just saying anything that you like say and do can and will be used against you in a court of law. And sometimes when I hear this, it's kind of like when there's other people out to get you and they see you doing something so different that is out in the public. Like maybe it's not out in the public though, because it's actually like the message that I'm getting this come through is on the Moon card, which is usually hidden things or things we can't see, or there might be a level of confusion there or something like that. So it could be a spirit's way of telling you to just be keeping certain things to yourself for the moment, that there could be people like others, like peering eyes or something like that. Maybe you're going through a stage in life where you might be under a little bit of like scrutiny or something like that, and that at this particular point in time, until you sort of get further down that pathway, it might actually be good for you to keep certain things to yourself, just because of the fact that other people would use it against you almost as if it were a weakness. But I mean, in saying that, I feel like I see that you get there in the end, where you're able to be fully embodied and embrace it and be out in the open. And, you know, I don't know, maybe you're only out in the open with that immediate sort of group of like-minded individuals. It's hard to say, but I feel like you're on your way there. So yeah, kudos to you, group 2. I'll see you all in another video. Thanks. Okay, welcome group 3. If you chose the 6 of Cups and this is your reading for what is the truth of the situation that you're experiencing. So I feel like for this group, I'm not sure if something long-term here is coming to fruition, or I don't know. For some of you, I feel like it's like an old friend or a long-term friend or a person you've known for a long time coming back in. Like it could be like a reunion type energy. For others of you, it's like you've really grown together. Or maybe you've just known each other for such a long time that like, even if you haven't really grown together, you've kind of seen each other grow in snapshots. So like maybe you only catch up with this person every 6 or 12 months, or you have periods where you see each other kind of regularly and then you don't for a while, and then it's like that thing of you knew each other. That's way too many cards. It's that thing where you like knew each other when you were like, you know, younger, and now you see each other when you're older, and it's kind of, there's a graceful divinity in the way that that kind of happens, and we can see and truly appreciate the beauty within other people around us. It actually makes me want to cry. I wonder if for some of you miss this person, or they mean a lot to you, or it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Okay, so the perspective here seems to be really important. I don't know if you feel judged by this person, or they feel like maybe you've judged them or something like that. There might actually not be any judgment at all. It might just be a case of like us, you know, sometimes we can judge ourselves, but like really the only person that can judge us is like, you know, your God or the universe, whatever it is that you like refer to or, yeah, experience divinity through. And so it's kind of like, seems like spirit telling you to relax a little bit about it all and just let it take its course and move forward with life. And it's kind of like just, I don't know if, I don't feel like you're being told to leave it by the wayside. I feel like you and this person will kind of come back into each other's lives over time, like you sort of come out and come back in, and to just move forward and like kind of just trust that it'll show up again, and that maybe next time you see each other, you'll have already gone through another transformative or rebirth type process, and that you'll be much more transformed or a higher state of evolution in yourself or growth as a person, and that the depth and insight that you have will allow you to connect on a deeper level. There is something here too where the two of you may share a past of having partied or being in celebratory energies. I don't know if, and I don't want to say inappropriate times is maybe not the right wording. It could have been regarding, it's just like celebrating too much. That's what I want to say. It's celebrating too much. For some of you, it could mean around like use of substances. For some of you, it could be maybe the people or the time or the places that it's connected to. There's a lot of mental rumination around, although I feel like your connection with this person is probably quite solid. For some of you, this person could be in their head quite a lot, or maybe you're in your head about this person. For some of you might feel a little bit tormented, that like this could flip the energy either way this goes. It's like one of you might feel a little bit tormented that you kind of let the other one like slip between your fingers, and for others of you it's kind of like you might feel stuck in the stage that you're at in life, and like you wish you could kind of move on from where you're at and maybe go back to being that celebratory energy where they kind of met you or something. There's some sort of like reminiscing about like a better time and wishing you're able to be back there and then, but then you wouldn't be who you are and you wouldn't have gone through that transformative process that you have. And I think maybe it's just because this person means a lot to you, or this relationship. For some of you it might just be family, I'm not really sure. For me it feels like a good friend or a potential like romantic interest at some point, something like that. But spirit wants you to know that like who you are and part of your process. It's like, it's so powerful, it's really powerful, and I feel like you have done really well, and you've I can't stop saying like evolution. It's like you've evolved so much. I don't think you really understand how much you've evolved, and maybe this is something that you are just meant to let go of, and maybe it's hard to like stop thinking about it or going back to it or ruminating on it, and maybe the way forward is to kind of just accept where you're at and embrace this transformative process, even if it's not particularly comfortable at times or enjoyable, you know, such as life. But I think they're just sort of saying embrace the now, embrace the transformation, embrace the process, and just leave that where it needs to be, and if it's meant to, it'll come back together. Okay, so I feel like right now, the longer that you kind of stay trying to reminisce or trying to think about it or work out what could have happened and didn't happen, maybe you just feel like an innate closeness to this person. Maybe you were very close. I feel like you probably were really close, and yeah, that can be hard when we leave important people behind. Maybe we're just not at a place where we're meant to have them with us for this part of the journey. They might actually have some work to do on themselves to get them up to speed to where they need to be to actually come back into your life in a way that they could actually invest in you properly. And I don't think when I'm talking about this person that they wouldn't invest in you. I just think that they might not have a clear vision, or their capacity to be able to invest might be kind of limited at this point in time. And it doesn't mean that they don't love you and you don't mean a lot to them, or vice versa. It's just that it might not be the same, to the same effect. Yeah, or yeah, something like that. I feel like some of you might still get really caught up in how good different times were, and the reality of the situation is that you're just not there anymore, and we're kind of living in the past here, and we need to really move forward. We need to move on. We need to embrace the now. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Group 3, this kind of feels surreal, and I hope that you find some peace in finding a way to like kind of put this down. And I don't feel like it, like, you know, you might not even feel like this really drives you crazy. It's just that like it's a, you know, it just stays in the back of your mind, and every now and then it just crops up, and it seems to like never really be put to bed or put to rest. And I think Spirit wants you to know that your transformation that you've undergone has been great. It's been better than any other outcome you could have had, and that thinking about the what ifs isn't really going to serve us in this situation. They want you to really embrace where you're at, and it doesn't matter what that looks like. I feel like Spirit is saying that they have your back, even if it doesn't feel like it. Yeah, okay. And that this is like a true step forward in the direction to really being secure in yourself and authentic in how you show up in the world. And yeah, it's kind of like reassurance, and it feels like almost like a bit of a big hug. And so hopefully that was helpful to you in some way, Group 3, and I'll see you all in another reading.